Our next guest gained a lot of fame from his own work and the way he was publicizing that work. Alikuwa anatokea kwa video usiku, katikati ya usiku. Akuja kwa kamera anasema, kwa majina ni Geoffrey Mosiria, katibu wa mazingira katika gatuzi la Nairobi. Hivi leo tuko hapa kwa sababu wenyeji wa hapa wamepiga kelele wakisema hiki kilabu kinapiga kelele sana. Sasa tunataka kuambia wazime. And he did that until governor akamzima kidogo akamwambia fanya hivi. Achana na mazingira. Sasa anataka uengage na citizens directly. Right now, yeye ni katibu mkuu na he'll tell us that in Kiswahili. Public participation, citizens engagement and customer service. That's the job. Geoffrey Mosiria.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
And thank you for this invite. Umesahau ni katibu mkuu. Mkuu. Makatibu ni wengi.
Chief officer.
Katibu mkuu wa jiji ni mmoja. Kenya hii makatibu ni wengi. But I'm happy to be here. And I want to thank Kenyans because we have walked a journey together, and also the media. We have walked this journey together in making sure that we engage the people, we educate the people as far as environment is concerned, health is concerned, and where I am today, where the people are concerned, and the voice of the people is the voice of God. So we have to listen to the people. And who are these people? Kenyans and Nairobians. Yeah.
To welcome you to the conversation, Felaris is going to give you the day's quote. So listen to the words of the quote and let's hear your reflection of that quote.
So today's quote is from another mkuu, Greek philosopher and polymath, anaitwa Aristotle. And the quote says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit."
Yes, actually, what you do is what defines whom you are. If you do good, people will remember you for the good things you did. And nobody remembers a thief. A thief is forgotten, but someone who impacts on society will forever be remembered for the good deeds. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that, because I'm trying to remember. I'm like, who are the world's most famous thieves? And to be fair,
kuna ule mmoja alisulubiwa kando ya Yesu.
Yes.
We don't know his name. We don't know he was a thief.
Alibaba and the 40 thieves are the 40 thieves named. Yeah.
Even when we talk about the great heists,
Yes.
we first start with the heist and then the name is the secondary.
Yeah. To be fair. Let me start with doing a spot check. Your time as a chief officer, Mambo ya environment.
I started from health.
Actually, yes. Yes. Interviewed you at Nation FM
health,
when you were in the health docket, and then environment, and then now public participation. And we'll talk about public participation in a bit. But environment was the one that was visible sana kwa watu because of your spot checks ukienda around. Now, my question is Nairobi cleaner after Geoffrey Mosiria's time as CEO?
You are a Nairobian, and you see how the city is. I believe the city is clean, and so far haven't received many complaints. But you'll be able to tell me how is Nairobi after I left, because I can't tell myself. I might be biased, but a Nairobian can see.
You cannot do your own appraisal.
You cannot set an exam and mark for yourself.
Mark your own homework as well. So I will say this. Parts of Nairobi are certainly cleaner. Others, same. Now, the reason I'm saying parts of is there's parts of the city that have always consistently been cleaner than others. And then there was a time when there was just like a degradation. I don't know what was happening. And then you came in and there was cleanups around markets, around trenches, around things like that. And we did see a significant move, especially kama ni hapo downtown, vitu kama hizo. Then there's the markets, and there's areas of this city that are also just still incredibly I don't know is the word filthy, but yes, there's a consent to them. And I know it's not a one-day job to clean Nairobi city. It's something that will take a lot of time. My only question is, was it more show? As Mosiria goes here, ta, 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 that place is clean. Mosiria goes there, ta, 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 that place is clean. But for the wider Nairobi where Mosiria hajafika, yeah.
Actually, the responsibility of cleaning the city is for every person.
True.
Because Nairobi belongs to Nairobians, and every person generates garbage, so you have a responsibility. Every household must make sure that the garbage they generate is taken to the final disposal. That's the Dandora. And when I worked in the environment, I made sure that I'm on the ground because my work is not in the office. As the chief officer, I'm in charge of operations. I had to go to the ground and see how are Nairobians receiving services. I used to engage with Nairobians. I used to go there, supervise personally. Yes, we had 17 sub-county supervisors. Those are sub-county environment officers. But sometimes I have to go there and make sure that things are really working well. Because I believe that office work I can delegate to my directors and other deputy directors. But this operation, there's a culture people normally develops. When you work in an institution, there's that culture developed that, we are used to cleaning. So sometimes people tend to forget. So whenever I'm on the ground, I'll go there, encourage them, support them. Where they are unable to do their work, I lead that operation, especially where people have encroached, where people are dumping garbage in residential areas. I managed to close so many illegal dumping sites, like Kiangombe, illegal dumping site. We had one in Likoni Road. Likoni Road is the biggest one, even before you were born, even me. I closed it down, and many others. Unfortunately, the problem we have, Nairobians, when they see that person who was there on the ground has left, they celebrate. Most of those people who used to run those illegal dumping sites, some were celebrating that now, huyu mtiaji ametolewa. Wacha turudi tuendelee vile kulikuwa. So I want to tell them, hata kama nilienda wizara nyingine maanishi mchafue. Bado nitakuja, serikali iko na mkono mrefu, na mahali nipo sasa naweza tembea kila mahali nihakikishe kwamba huduma inapeanwa.
Okay. Let me go into the thread of garbage in Nairobi. You closed down quite a number of illegal dumping sites. New Kweli. How many legal dumping sites do we have in Nairobi?
We only have
dumping sites.
We only have
Dumping site.
Legal.
final disposal, which is gazetted, which is the Dandora.
Which is Dandora.
The rest are transfer points, where you hold garbage for few hours as we facilitate transportation to final disposal. So we don't have any other dumping site apart from Dandora. And that's why we are doing waste to energy plant in Dandora, so that also the people of Dandora can live in a healthy environment. We transfer all problems of Nairobi to Dandora. How about the lives of those people who live there? That's why there are plans. Even before I left, we had initiated the process of waste to energy, which is going now to sort out the problems of Dandora once for all, so that now this garbage can be seen as a resource. Every person now will be selling his garbage to those who collect. Instead of you now incurring a cost to collect to transport your garbage to the final disposal, you will keep your garbage, you sell it. It will have value. Right now, Kenyans, Nairobians, they don't see the value of the garbage. They just see it as waste. But they don't know that that's billions of money, millions of money, they're just dumping.
Okay.
If people and what you can do or what we'll do now moving forward, we'll be engaging people. We create awareness, we educate them to understand that this waste you have, this organic, can be sold at this price. This recyclable plastics can be recycled, so you'll sell it at this value, so that people get to understand that this waste you have to keep it and sell. It's like when we were young. You know those coins, 1 bob, 2 bob. Some people used to not to see the value in it, but there are those who saw the value in it. They had a box. a small bank in a house.
put it.
They'll put those coins there. After 1 year, he opens it. He has around 20,000-30,000
Yeah.
of coins.
Let me, the reason I was threading, we have one legal dumping site. You said the others are transfer sites.
Yeah.
How does the garbage also get to the transfer sites and to Dandora? I'm just threading because keeping Nairobi clean starts from Mimi, of course, disposing of my garbage properly. But after that, Sasa, is the county collecting my garbage.
What happens? Normally we license CBOs, those young men who use mkokoteni. We license them. We license private service providers who are supposed to collect garbage and take it to the final disposal. The CBOs, because they don't have capacity, they'll collect from the households, they'll bring it to the transfer points. From the transfer points, the county and PSP will pick it from there and transfer to the Dandora final disposal. And also we have the recyclers. They'll also go to the transfer points or where people are doing the waste segregation, where they're trying to, the sorting centers, to pick garbage from there. Whatever they don't need is taken to Dandora. But there are people who have now misused those transfer points because, again, what we had as a county, the capacity we had, and the growing population of Nairobi, 7 million people who generate garbage in 24 hours, what we had is not enough. That's why we had to contract public service providers in waste collection, those CPOs, to help us. But ideally, the responsibility of transporting that garbage, it lies with the individual who generates it. You have to pay for your garbage. But Nairobians, most of them, they don't pay. People get out of their houses with waste, they dump it along the road reserve. That's why when you walk along Kikuyu Road, along Jogo Road, along Mombasa Road, main corridors, you'll see small sacks of garbage. Full of garbage. Even some of the unlicensed CBOs who use mkokoteni, they will get garbage from households. They dump it along the road reserve at night. In the morning, you'll find heaps of garbage along the roads. So they have also created illegal dumping site, and that's why I was very strict. I never spared anybody when doing an operation. If you are found on the wrong, you're on the wrong. We talked to them, we educated them, we created awareness, then we moved to a stage of enforcement for those who refuse to comply with the law. That's why you could see me introducing myself. Kwa majina ni Geoffrey Mosiria, katibu mkuu wa mazingira gatuzi la Nairobi. Leo hii tuko hapa Kikuyu Road. Ukiangalia hapa, hii ni apartment na wanamwaga takataka toka juu ya nyumba kuja chini. Like pipeline, it was very hazardous. How do you stay in a house? Pipeline is the only place where a building has like 10 floors. Every floor, they have one toilet and one bathroom, or 2 toilets, 2 bathrooms. And everyone has to use that toilet, has to use that bathroom. So, if you want to go for a long call and you have a stomach problem, you get into that toilet, they're all occupied, you have an alternative. Do you know what's an alternative? An alternative is a basin or something, an improvised toilet in your house. They will go there, they use it, then they will mix with water and other waste. They will dump it from the balcony to the road. So, if you live in pipeline and you're walking, you have to walk looking up.
No.
So that
if you look up, that's even worse.
Me, I'm telling you how the situation was before I intervened. Before I intervene, you have to look up and you watch where you step.
To dodge.
So, when I went there, I had to first engage the people. I talked to them the first day. I removed that garbage along some of the main corridors that were really affected. The following day, they were worse. I gave it 1 week. I went back there with 3 of our enforcement vehicles, around 40 officers. We moved house to house. Those who were in those houses, we arrested them, the landlord or the caretaker. we enforced properly. We did a proper enforcement. People really cry. Those who are there, they really try to beg us, please forgive us. I told them, we did our work, and it's your responsibility to pay for garbage and transport. After that enforcement, which we did like 3 days, the place was clean.
Is it clean now?
Right now, I haven't visited there.
So what happened?
But when I was there,
so what happened?
and I
They
used to
stopped.
visit frequently. Most of those places, I used to visit frequently because even the road are being interfered with. You know that garbage, it interfered with the road. So what I did, when we were cleaning, we clean, I used to go with our vehicle. Because once we clean and we leave those potholes, those holes, people will not even walk. We cleaned, I moved those radicals from those construction sites in Kilimani and some parts of Nairobi. We took it there and we backfilled those potholes. So the roads were okay.
Right.
So if you visit some parts, like this one place which was very notorious, right now it's okay.
Can I speak to, sorry, Felaris, I just wanted to speak to, because you've branched into something I want to talk about, which was your enforcement style. And this is a great example of it. These people are dumping garbage, fecal matter onto the street. Big problem, public health hazard, bad for the environment, everything, right?
Yeah.
But you've also said very clearly they had one toilet per floor or two toilets per floor or one bathroom per floor, I mean 2 bathrooms per floor and so on and so forth. Now, when you arrest those people, and this is not in their defense because you should not be dumping it, but it is also understanding that no one is dumping fecal matter by choice, for lack of a better. Yeah, it is because essentially, like you've said, my stomach may be running and there is one toilet.
It's a matter of urgency.
Something is broken somewhere.
Something is broken somewhere. Speaks to the same way with like the noise enforcement, right? Someone is making noise for residents somewhere. It is a massive problem. But whose job is it to ensure that building in pipeline also follows building regulations? I know there's regulations as to how many toilets can be used by a certain number of people and so on. When it comes to this club is making noise, it is also someone else's job to ensure that there's no club next to a school, next to a church, next to the hospital, next to a house and all of that. So my question is just, again, it feels performative when those people in pipelines are the ones being arrested, as opposed to the county calling itself for a meeting and saying, why is there a 6-story house hosting 200 households that only has 10 toilets?
Yes, I'll respond to that. First, before I respond, you're trying to tell me that today you walk out of this office, a thief snatches your phone, just because he doesn't have food in his house, you want to say that this person should not be arrested. Let him just go with my phone. Maybe it will help him get some food in his house. So, he is a person who has committed an offense. Let's look at the offense first. Because there are other ways of doing this. Yes, it's historical. It's something that those houses were constructed more than 10 years ago, before we came into office, and we are trying to fix this mess. Is the time we are trying to sort out some of this mess. Yes, the county government the county government, the people slept on their work, but the time to fix it is now. If we don't sort it now, nobody will sort it. That's why when I got into environment, I said, if some of these things I don't sort them now, like the noise pollution issues, nobody will sort it. That's why you could see me moving from one establishment to another, shutting it down, taking the equipment. I leave them to just drink without music, because you can drink without music and still enjoy your drink and your neighbors sleep. There are many clubs which, someone just converts a residential area to a small restaurant. They introduce a beer. They see, hey, now we can introduce music and a club and make more money. They turn it to a club. The neighbors are suffering. The entrepreneur doesn't see the neighbors. He sees himself becoming rich overnight. But these people are suffering. They have children, they have sick people in the house. And you expect me to just sit down, or I go there and I join them in drinking. Some of them could even want to try and say that, hey, mzee, mdosi anataka tuongee hivi, susonge hivi tuongee. Mwambia, just tell me here in the camera. Whatever you want to tell me there, tell it to me in the camera. So, whoever could want to compromise me, they didn't have a space because Kenyans, someone will come and fix you and even if
will record you
and money by force, and you'll be arrested. These cameras has really helped me because many people are working in the corridors with even treated money. Some have gone to ESEZ and they have lied that this man is asking us for a bribe, give us money, we go and they fix him. They walk with their money up and down until they got tired because they don't take a bribe. The last thing I'll ever do is taking dirty money to compromise myself, to compromise my family, because the person who is suffering is also a prayerful person. He also cries to God, because when the government fails to sort your problem, God will always sort it out in his way. And how does God sort it out? God, that person will run to God. Asema, hii serikali ijanisaidia, wacha nirudi tu kwa Mungu. When that person prays, whatever he asks, God will answer him or her indirectly. That's when now you see you took a bribe, your children start getting sick, your parents, that money does not even assist you. It becomes a liability in your life.
It becomes a curse.
A curse.
So the long short of the answer here is that in your enforcement, you are balancing two things. You're balancing the current as you try to fix the historical challenge that's been there. We'll get back into, getting deeper into that, and also seeing in your new role as customer service and citizens engagement, how much further are you able to implement some of those things that you started in health, in environment, now covering all the other departments in the county. Geoffrey Mosiria ni katibu mkuu katika, now what do you call this department?
Yes, kwa wale ambao mnanitizama, kwa majina ni Geoffrey Mosiria, katibu mkuu wa ushirikisho na huduma kwa wananchi gatuzi la Nairobi.
Ushirikisho na huduma kwa wananchi. Public participation, citizens engagement, and customer service. It's coming up to 9 a.m. We'll be continuing that conversation shortly.
Majuu sasa wale mtaka kwenda majuu, enda World Cup ukimaliza tafuta watu wetu Minnesota pale.
Hapana. It's a scary thing.
Kitakuumania ukiwa.
Kitaumania.
Lazima ujipange proper. Just do the right thing at the right time.
When FIFA is
this is the time
bids,
Kenyans will lose their money through some rogue agents. They'll be lied to. I've received so many complaints of people losing money to these agents that I'll take you to the US during World Cup. People sell their properties, they'll sell everything to be taken to the US. Later on, they'll be stranded at the airport and money is gone.
That's a good caution, by the way, because I think the process of applying for a visa, for getting a ticket, I think should be fairly clear. But I'll just say, as FIFA is accepting bids for people to host something as big as the World Cup, you need to take some of these things into account, because there's no reason people should be feeling worried about attending a World Cup.
Correct.
Qatar recently was the most inclusive World Cup, I think, one of the most for us Africans. Any place hauhitaji visa ama nikupata ni one touch. Russia also accepted a ticket as a visa. Essentially, if you can show that I've bought a ticket to the World Cup, you got in. Now on this other end, it's madness.
It's absolute madness.
Lakini lazima nitaenda. Ndio nikuje kuwaeleza. I witness. I witness.
You do.
What you saw there. Geoffrey Mosiria, Chief Officer, Public Participation, Citizens Engagement and Customer Service at the Nairobi City County Government. And as we're going into the break, we were talking about, what you've done with environment enforcement and seeing whether you can set up, systems that work. Before I ask my question, tell me, what was Geoffrey Mosiria doing before he joined Nairobi County as Chief Officer Health?
Yes, Geoffrey Mosiria is a graduate from the University of Nairobi. Background is BCom Finance. That's my undergraduate. Master's I did Business Administration. He worked as an hospital administrator. That is in Bagadi, Pumwani, Mtoweni. I'm the person who transformed Pumwani. You know, Pumwani was seen as a facility where when you walk in, you're not sure if you're going to walk out safely with a baby. And when I was a deputy administrator, I remember there's something I did, which most people watched it when Governor Sonko visited the facility. You know, as a deputy administrator was in charge of transport. That's one of the functions. And I remember I used to sign impress for transportation of bodies to city mortuary. There's a time I signed an impress to transport around 20 fetus, those bodies, those children that had just been delivered and have died. Then the following day, I'm signing another for 15. Later on, I asked myself, what is this I'm doing? And I remember that time my wife was expectant. Then I asked myself, so if my wife comes here, I'm not sure if she'll walk out with her baby. That's when I informed the former governor, Mike Sonko, that ABCD is happening. Then he told me he'll have to come and confirm by himself because he needed to that proof by himself because maybe there could be, he told maybe there is differences between me and my bosses. I told him no. So he came in impromptu. He went direct to that morgue. He found what I told him. Many people called me a mole, a spy. You know how Kenyans are.
Sell out.
They sell out. But I said, call me a sellout, call me a mole, but I have saved her life. Because it's about life. It's not about something else. It's not that someone absconded duty. This is about a mother who came to a facility, well, without having a sick baby that she's carrying in her womb, without being sick, just to deliver. And then, you know, I used to even feel the pain of a mother walking home, carrying that basin, the one she buys to go and bathe the child, with the child's clothes inside, minus her baby.
But no baby.
You know how painful it is? And the husband is there. And you know, people used to come there. Those people are low-income earners. People can't afford private facility. You could see how desperate they walk out. And I could feel it as a parent because I was expecting a baby. And I asked myself, no, this can't continue. Call me a mole, call me I'll do whatever it takes.
So just back to my question. So before Governor Sakaja promoted you into chief officer.
So I was an administrator.
As in the county?
Yes.
As an administrator?
Yeah.
So you have several years of experience working in this city?
Yeah.
At various levels now, at head of department level?
Yes.
Are there systemic challenges that Nairobi faces that need to be fixed by law and by change of institutions?
Nairobi, we have good policies in place. What we need is implementation. Implementers, who are the officers, including me. We have to be on tour. We have to be on the ground. You know, governor will not be all over. Governor is just to give direction, the driver. But he has the people who makes it work. So if every person will work on in proper implementation of the policies, making sure the systems are working, everything will fall into place. And that's what he's doing actually. When he came into office, Nairobi, even staff, they didn't, there are some basic needs which were there for you to enable your work. Like you go to an office, you don't have even a computer desktop to work. But he has provided all those equipment, tools of work, and things are working so far.
Okay, so there are structural issues that need to be fixed. For example, facilitating the workers to work, right?
Workers are already facilitated. The thing is, the people are working.
They were not. Let me give you an example of why they were not, and those are the things that
you from outside.
You also claim credit for. So, for example, when the governor claims credit for hiring 600 people as environment cleaners, it means that there was a problem. When the governor takes credit for saying that he has bought new cameros, the garbage trucks for the city, it means that there was a problem. When the governor takes credit for refurbishing the customer service center, it means there was a problem. When the governor takes credit for what you've just talked about, just buying computers for people in the office to work, it means that there's a problem. Which tells me there's many other challenges that are there that make the people not do their work and make service delivery not work.
No problem.
Yes, what I'll say is this. There could be, even in any institution, there's challenges. And one of the challenges, financial challenges, because you need resources to buy those equipment, those tools of work, and put them in place to employ, to recruit. Because we had departments like now environment, which had no staff to do the cleaning. And actually, with his intervention, and I want to appreciate His Excellency, the governor, because he recruited the staff and they're really doing good work. Like in the city, when you walk around, you'll see someone sweeping. They were never there before. So what right now is remaining is that with the officers now, we need to wake up and do our work, those who are not doing their work the right way. Because again, in government, you can't keep on complaining that you don't have ABCT to deliver. Some of the things that require to be done, they don't need some of those resources. They just need you to put your energy. They just need you to be available for that work and make sure that it's done the right way.
So that's why we have many lazy workers in Nairobi County.
Not many, I'm not saying many. I want to say that
workers.
Every person has to wake up and do his work the way it's supposed to be done. And that's why sometimes when you see even my boss appreciating me, it's because I go out of my way. You know, it's a privilege to work in government. It's not a right.
True.
Everyone will wish to work in government because in government, you know you are assured of your retirement benefits. Once you retire, you'll be getting some allowances. In government, you know your job security is guaranteed. And in government, there are so many benefits of working in government.
I hear
So
you.
we are speaking to the benefits that you get, but
So
I want
that's
us to
what I'm
look at the
saying.
team effort
With all this, you also need to go out of your way and
to get the job done.
To get the job
You see,
done.
you can't
Extra.
work alone.
Yeah.
You
It's
really
true.
can't work alone, and there's a reason why government has employed all of these people to make
Yes.
sure that enforcement is done. It's not just Mosiria's job,
Yeah.
much as he's an extra hard-working person. Bakari, he is asking, does Mosiria work with MCAs, which is, again, part of the people that are within the structure that you could work with, when carrying out his duties of engaging Nairobi citizens? That's one. And a bunch of feedback that's coming in, of course, speaking to the flying toilets, that's from Kelvin Muna. It's called flying toilets, and
Do you
what
still
is
have
the
flying
solution
toilets?
So I
long term?
think
What he was pouring out. I mean, you described the situation in pipeline, but let me just finish the rest of the feedback. Is since Nairobi County already has a communication directorate that manages public relations, isn't Mosiria's citizens engagement quote unquote function vague? And this is just some of the feedback that's coming in from our audience. Maybe you could speak to it.
Right.
what I'll say is this: things are working. The one who was asking about communication, that's a department which I lead. And we want to appreciate the government because before, this department, they were operating from a small room in a corridor. Right now, we have a department that is full-fledged, that is equipped. And we normally receive feedbacks from the Nairobians, complaints. We also communicate to Nairobians. And we work closely with the MCAs. Especially in public participation, area MCAs are involved and the leadership is involved. So we don't work in isolation. And we are open to feedback. That's why sometimes we have officers in 17 sub-counties. We have even decentralized our services. We have taken our services to Huduma Center. We have a Huduma Center in Kibra, in Isli, in Makadara. Most of the Huduma centers within Nairobi, our services are there. Even our customer services are there. So we are trying to take services closer to the people, and that's improving the services, because ideally people used to queue all of them in City Hall. But right now, someone is able to pay for rent, rates in the sub-counties, Huduma Center services.
Or on eCitizen. So the thing I've been struggling with is a lot of the fixes for Nairobi County are cosmetic. It's always, if I'm a visitor and maybe I come to Westlands, a nice part of Nairobi, and I get on the expressway from JKIA, you know, I'll have such a nice view. Wonderful, 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 beautiful city. Nikishuka tu hapo chini, Wayakiwe, it's a different, and that's not to speak to the roads, but more that it's very much it's very much focused on aesthetics. And that's why I kept asking, even as you do these enforcement drives and you're moving from place to place, what is the underlying fix that's happening there? Let me go to public participation now. It's nice to have a docket that has a chief officer for public participation, but does Nairobi County have a framework for what is considered meaningful public participation?
Yeah, we have a framework in place on how we engage the citizens as far as public participation is concerned, and it's working. And as you say, cosmetics, that when you move from the city, from the airport, the city looks beautiful. When you get down, it's another different thing. That's one of the things that we have been fixing. That's why removing those illegal structures, because there are people who have been there for years. And when you try to remove them, some of you, the citizens, including the media, will say, that person has been harassed, the government is being unfair, but the government is trying to sort out some of this mess. We have markets. Why do you have to leave Kalindini market in Dagoretti, which is a very beautiful market, which has been constructed to accommodate traders? You go to operate from the roadside. It's because people want shortcut. They want to avoid paying for licenses. They want to operate as hawkers. Why do you have to ignore Kanguno market? You are operating along Ile Selassie on the road. People die. They continue operating. Wanasema tuko wengi hata wakikufa baada tutaisha. That's the word they normally use. The other day there were people died here. Wanasema hiyo siku yao ilikuwa imefika. You know, that's how Kenyans are. We don't care about ourselves. Unapata mtu anakuambia kama ni wa kukufa ni wa kukufa.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is this.
Yes.
In Nairobi, fixing Nairobi is what we're doing. It needs staff leaders. That's why we have a governor and chief officers, including myself. We have to make some unpopular decision. People may not be happy about us removing illegal structures, but it has to be done. People may not be happy about demolishing those houses around River Nairobi, but it has to be done because order has to be restored. Whatever it takes to fix Nairobi has to be done. All we are asking for the residents is that just support the government because you are the government. We are only drivers to make sure that things are done the right way.
The people shall.
I get you. And I hear you that things do have to be done and you need someone has to be the bad guy. The thing is always the how. So it's always, if this has been demolished, was there sufficient notice given? Were people told to move? Were there alternative plans? Am I demolishing your roadside structure, but I know there's a Kalindini market that is there. I know there's Gikomba, I know there's etc. It's always the procedures. And that's why I was still asking, when it comes to your new docket, public participation, you said there's an effective framework. What is the framework for public participation? And we'll get into, I know you do quite a lot more, and there's lovely videos of you, for example, helping street families and things like that. And we'll get into that. But I want to hang on public participation a little bit. What's the framework? What constitutes effective public participation?
First, I'll say this. Public participation is engaging the citizen and getting their feedbacks, listening to them. And like you have said, we normally just demolish a market or demolish structures without having a framework. We have a framework in place. We have to also communicate to these people. Because again, this is a situation you are trying to tell us, this is someone who has broken the law. Is operating in an illegal place. We have the markets. They're normally informed. They're normally guided. And we are guided by the law. We don't just wake up and displace people. We have to engage these people. We have to do public participation where we come as government officers. We sit down in a hall, in a town hall meeting, in whereby these residents are given a chance to express their views, how they want it to be done. Because again, we don't want to force things into the peoples. Like we have markets which have been constructed to accommodate these traders, but those markets are empty. Have you ever been to Kanguna market?
No, I've not.
You need to walk there. This is a market which is very big, can accommodate more than 5,000 traders. But all the stalls are empty. Traders are operating, some even outside the market. Someone has rented a stall, but they don't want to operate inside. They want to operate from outside through shortcuts.
There has to be a reason why they're operating from outside.
I was going to say that. I'll be a dog up like with a bone with this public participation story. I'll keep asking again what constitutes effective public participation, because a lot of the times you'll find you have built a wonderful market, 5,000 people can be accommodated there. Is that where biashara is? Does it work for the traders that you want to move there? If there has been public participation that is considerable, then they would have told you this market doesn't work for me.
What happens with these traders?
It would be better if you put it here, or if you put it there. Give me free Wi-Fi, something of the sort.
Can I tell you? Can I answer you? You know, everything we do, we have to do public participation before we implement.
How do we conduct it?
How we conduct it?
How do we conduct
involve
the public participation?
what we do as a country. We have to communicate first. We give them a notice.
Through what channels?
Through media. We communicate through media. We also do through their leadership. And we even send our officers to the ground and inform them verbally, and communicate and give them a date, and even give them some notices. And we also print some notices and serve them. So once they are served, we call them for this engagement. They will give us ideas how they want things to be done, including the compound where demolition were done recently. They are normally engaged, they were involved, and now when it comes to implementation, there are those, you know, there's one thing with Kenyans, and I want you to understand me. A Kenyan today, you'll sit with him, or a Nairobian, you agree. Now they want to see how the government is going to do it. You know, we just don't want to move or do things the right way. So once we engage them, we agree, we give them an alternative. They were given an alternative space to operate from, so that this market can be constructed. But what happens? The same people, you will find them there, and they are incited. You know, they are people, let me call them cartels. Some of their leaders are cartels. Those whom they have elected amongst themselves, because they eat and they benefit from this
chaos.
People. From when there is chaos is when they benefit. Mwambia, mtu anakuja, unajua kuna mkubwa wa soko nimeona mahali, nimeongea na yeye, amesema kila mtu sasa mtapomolewa. Kila mtu atafuta 5,000. So they will give out money out of desperation, so that not to demolition. And these are the same, these cartels will eat this money. Now the blame will go to that person. Ati kama kwani tulitoa pesa tena mmekuja kutubomolea. So what I want to tell the people is this: they should not fall into the traps of these cartels. Whenever we do a public participation, we have to involve the people who are the real, even it's the hawkers or the traders there, and we agree. Even the hawkers you see in CBD, we have had several engagements with them. We agree, don't operate from the frontage, the walkways, where you are blocking people's shops. But the following day, you will find a hawker along Pasimoy Avenue selling products which are enough to hire a shop. And you know how these people are doing this? Some of them, they own shops. You know, previously, before entertainment moved to residential, people used to sleep in town. Those lodgings lost, let me guest house, not lodging. Lodging is missing the people, the way they sit. Those guest houses, people have hired their store for their goods. When they open the day, they hire hawkers. Someone has like 10 hawkers who take products from their shops, they go and sell, they return, they pay money, they're given more to go and and they sell. So
they have a sales force.
Yeah. So once you engage these people, you engage the wrong people, because the people are engaging
you're engaging
hawkers,
an employee.
Yes.
Those are employees. The real owners or the real cartels who are interfering with the city are never engaged.
So Geoffrey, now that you are in charge of this as the principal secretary, chief officer, in charge of this department of citizen engagement, do you have a better way of engaging with people? Because clearly, that other one where you're going and you're engaging with leaders are going and still playing games with their people.
What we do?
Do you have a better way of engaging?
What I do is this, because when we noted that the people you are meeting are not the real owners of such businesses, that's when now we move to another step whereby you do it from the ground. You go where those people are operating from. You engage them, you advise them, you guide them, we talk to them, and they will tell us, now, if you know, Mama Mboga will tell you, this is the only place I know. I don't know any other place. The other places we are asked for, maybe to pay and such. So we are able, personally with my team, we are able to engage them and support them settle in new places where they are supposed to be moved to. If it's about those Okas, Mama Mboga, all those illegal structures, we normally engage them in a different way by going to where they are operating from. Because when you call a public participation and do it from City Hall, nobody will show up. Only a few people will come, and most of them are activists. But when you go to the ground, you meet the real owners of the business. And we also use platforms like media to engage them and pass the message and continue educating them. Because what people lack is knowledge. And once they have this knowledge and they are guided well, they are willing to cooperate.
Are you willing to cooperate when they've, because what Mariam has asked as well is something called people-centered design. If you have gone to that Mama Mboga and she told you, I am not going to operate from there because I'm charged, and that's going to eat into my margins. I'd like to operate from here also because there's foot traffic and so on and so forth. And you tell them, I want to put up a 3-story market where you'll operate from the 3rd floor. And they tell you, 3rd floor, ukinipeleka 3rd floor Mosiria, sitapata biashara. Do you ever engage them in a way that is, people-centered design? Come back and say, this is what we thought, this is what the people have said, let's go back and redesign.
What we do, we listen to them, because you cannot take someone who is selling tomatoes, potatoes, fast-moving products to 3rd, 4th floor. There is a way they are designed. So normally we listen to their views, and that's what we implement. We don't just wake up. You are starting a market. People are shocked that demolitions are going on. You don't just wake up. The only
Get like an example of a situation where after doing some on-ground work, some public participation, you either changed the design for something, the location for something.
We normally work as per their request, because you could design a structure. Even when I was in health, there are things we could do, like a hospital. Citizen will come and say, this road is not the right one. We need this one. And we could listen to them, because they are the users. They're the consumers of our products. So we have to listen to them. And that's why I'm telling you, we have a different way of doing it, whereby now we have been going to the ground. Like I went to Kanguno Market, I listened to those traders. I asked them, why is it that this market is constructed and nobody is willing to operate from inside? They answered me. They told me the solution is very simple. The wholesalers, they are operating from CBD. That's the Wakulima market. We move wholesalers to Kanguno Market. So every person, people from Eastland, even the traffic will reduce in town, the Mikokoteni, because they'll all go to Kanguno Market. So I gave out that feedback to the responsible department, and they're working towards implementation of that feedback so that we are able to decongest the city. Once we move them there, nobody will be coming down to CBD to look for the products, because wholesalers, those who bring those products from up country, will be able now to go direct to Kanguro Market. There's another market, Mtwin Market, which is coming up in Donyo. Once it's operationalized, we put the wholesalers there. Nobody will be coming to CBD. We'll be decongesting CBD by moving wholesalers outside CBD. Because now someone is a hawker, Mama Mboga, he comes to CBD, he buys that product there. He will see a market outside that place. That's why we have hawkers along El Selassie. And as long as we don't listen to Nairobians, because those traders, those operators of those markets outside CBD understands Nairobi more than us, because they know the traffic is caused by them when they're coming for those products.
The timeline we have for this is, I'm assuming, before the next election, because administrations change. So you have a very ambitious plan. These promises that are going out to the traders and the people getting affected by this, and then the next administration comes in and says, we inherited these problems, so therefore sisi tuko na agenda yetu, sijui mnataka to do. And we hear that with every other administration that comes in and says we inherited problems, so now we are trying to fix them. So what are the timelines and timeframes that you're promising the people of Nairobi, as someone who seated here representing the county, saying that by X time, before the next election, all of these things will be finalized?
I want to assure Nairobians, because His Excellency the Governor, when he came into office, he had a good manifesto, and it's what is being implemented. What he promised in terms of markets, it's being implemented, and before the next election, all those markets will be operational. Before the next election, even Nairobi River, as the president and the governor promised, it will be clean. You will be able to go and swim there, and the fish will all be clean. Gikomba will be operational before the next election, because what is required now is the engineers are on site. Everything is moving with speed, and all I'm asking is that now is for the citizens to support the government, because at the end of the day, we need to work and keep us on toe. Also, don't keep quiet. And also, I'm appealing that a time has come now, the opposition has also to keep on toe by informing people the right thing rather than abusing people. In Kenya is where after election an opposition takes over, they start singing a new song. I've never seen an opposition wake up and say, you promise a market. This market has not been constructed. But you'll hear an opposition singing about how fat you look, how thin you look. So I'm not being against them. I know those opposition followers, but let them put us on toe in a way that the way media is doing. Media is now doing the work of opposition.
Hold to account, yes. Okay.
Media is what media is doing, asking us these questions, is what opposition should be asking out there. What are you doing about this? Right. But now, since opposition left their work, media has taken over. Continue, and we appreciate you, and you are doing tremendous work.
Thank you. As we continue sampling the comments and all, there's what you've been doing as well. Outside of the environment, there's what also you've been doing, like engaging the citizens, rescuing people here and there, coming in, and people have been saying, jamaa sasa ameanza kuzidi. You've become like everybody's everything. Right? Is this cloud chasing or not? Let's play some of the examples. Let's play a clip.
Play a clip.
Of there's a lady who you rescued from the streets. Right?
Martha Njoki.
Martha Njoki.
Yes.
Let's just play that one for people who may not have seen it, and then we talk about such.
Muonesha kitanda yako ni gani? Na hii yote nataka kulala. Na mimi natandika mimi peke yangu. Huo ni ule champe tulimtoa kwa streets. Yako. Umeamka pole, tumekuamsha mama. Ningetaka nikufanyie nini leo ingekuwa wewe ni mimi? Ningekupatia chance. Niambie leo nikufanyie kitu. Ni kitu gani unataka nikufanyie? Si leo nikufanyie kitu, yani hata nikusafishe uonge, uongo mpya, ufanye makeup. Unataka hivyo? Kuja tuende uoge basi kwa ile choo ya kanjo pale. Alafu anaitwa Esther Jokina. Kama kuna mtu anamtizama, anamjua wazazi wake, ndugu zake, ako kwa rehab. Tulimrescue kutoka CBD tukamleta kwa hii rehabilitation center ambayo inaitwa Rabbit Rehabilitation Center for Addiction. Sebo niona mwana wangu.
Sasa meno. Walikuwa wanakataka kaende wapi? Hello. Nimekuja kuona baba.
Kumbe ni umaskini tu ulikuwa unatesa wewe na njaa.
Ni Mungu mmoja na njaa. Noko dabu umeniinua pale nimefika. Najua nitasimama mzuri.
Unaona sasa? Sasa ule nduma anataka akuja ongea na mimi nimpatie pia.
Ni kazi yako hii Mosiria.
Hii ni fire. Madam boss. Ndio mada ndio key sasa. Alikuwa street family, lakini sasa hizi unaweza angalia. Hiyo ni picha yake akiwa kwa street. Shika mkono hivi vizuri kwanza nikupeleke leo kwa watoto wako. Ulijua siku moja utakaa na watoto wako hivi?
Sikujua, nilikuwa tu nafikiria kama nimekufa, nimepesha watoto wangu, nimekufa peke yangu, watoto wangu wakufe. Niwaachie tu madhe, ja washike mkono. Hata madhe sikuwa namjua, nalawa. Sasa namtambua, sana.
Unajua mamako utaimuona tena? Mbona? Bonga kwa sauti ndio nisikie.
Nadhani amekufa.
Unadhania mamako amekufa? Oh yeah. Na hizi biscuits. Unajua mama yenu ameleta mpaka unga.
Baba,
mpaka juice mwenda mkuja nao.
Hizi baba amewashimamia shopping watoto wangu. Nakuja na wakaribisha na kuna chakula ni tamu, nimezionja.
Alikuwa street family, ule msichana ambaye ni rescue from the streets.
All that, Geoffrey. Right. Yes. And this is just one of several things that you've done, and there have been very many questions around these acts that you do. Like, for example, Felaris.
Cameras, do we need to have them? Because cameras change behavior. When you're put in front of a camera, then it becomes a performance. So that's why Kenyans are asking.
Can I respond?
Is it clout chasing? And second, as you're responding, is the dignity of these people that you're helping. And third, is the resources. Whose are they?
Yes, first, these people are our brothers, they are your sisters. And when I met this lady outside City Hall, She was sleeping. And I approached her. She started crying. I didn't see a street family in her. I saw a lady who deserved to be shown love, to be protected, and to be given dignity. Already they are exposed out there. So why do I use a camera? I document. There are many other people there who have more money than me. They can come out and assist such people. If they see Mosiria doing it, they can join. And there are many who have joined what I'm doing, and they are helping. I'm also doing this to inspire others to do the same. I'm doing this recording so that people can also get to know their people. Through this recording, I've been able to reunite more than 50 children with their mothers. The parents thought their children died. So I don't do it for clout. If I was doing it for clout, then some of those people who have been doing it, then they're clout chasing. Then if this is what you call clout chasing, and I've changed someone's life and she has gotten a job as a brand ambassador for a tours company, who have agreed that they want just to support me, help me where I've reached, so that she can start her life out there as a mother.
Right.
This someone who disappeared 7 years ago. She wanted to commit suicide when things got worse. She couldn't find. She tried to throw herself in River Nairobi. Our fellow street families rescued her and beat her thoroughly. Because they asked her, unataka kukufa tuache sisi peke yetu tukiteseka? Wacha tuteseke pamoja. So this is someone, his own children knew their mother was dead. And they cried when they saw their mother after 7 years. Is this what some people call clout chasing? If that's clout chasing...
Can I reframe it?
Yes.
Instead of calling it clout chasing, is this political capital for you?
No.
Because it does indeed, given that your platform is also your public
let me respond to
official
that.
platform.
It's not political platform. What I'm doing is what leaders should do. What I'm doing is what people have been given that responsibility should do. Because why do we have people suffering and we have people who have that responsibility to do it? That's what I'm saying. What I'm doing is what NGOs that are funded should be doing. I use my 10%. I said I'll not give my 10% to any pastor because I've seen fake pastors out here. People asking for your money, you plant seeds, they call it plant seeds. Then they're driving big vehicles and those who are attending those churches are suffering. Why should I suffer with them? Right. It's better I serve God in a different way, and what I'm doing is serving God. And can I tell something? Whatever I do, my children have never gotten sick. I thank God, because when I'm helping these young children, these people suffering, God sets me free. It takes away diseases, it takes away poverty, it takes away problems, and I'm walking a free man. Right now I've left my house, everyone is happy. When I'm going back, I'll meet people happy and healthier. Okay. Because I touch someone's life out there. I spend 10% meant for God in serving God.
10%. So this is Geoffrey Mosiria.
Yeah.
Geoffrey.
Yeah.
Not Geoffrey Mosiria, CO.
I'm doing it as Geoffrey Mosiria outside my work.
Okay.
Yeah.
For that, I have no problem. Yesterday we hosted somebody who's doing exactly the same thing, and we're happy with the work that he's doing.
Yeah.
My only question would be, what's Nairobi City County policy on street families?
Yes.
Actually, this street family have become so many. I don't know if it's poverty, but as a county government, we have a policy in place. We have these children, we have rescue centers, we have homes where they are taken. But again, these children, they did not run away from their homes to be taken to homes. Most of them, we interact with them. They ran from their homes looking for freedom, believing that Nairobi is the best place to be. They can beg for money, but they found other places which is different than they thought. Drug addiction, substance abuse. Some of them are abused. You know, I've rescued even girls who have been raped, but we have never documented it. We have rescued young boys who have been molested. We have never documented, because such a case I can't document. Those people have a future. And So we have a policy in place, and we normally have a procedure. They are rescued, they're taken to homes, but most of them, they run.
Okay.
You know, that's not a prison. It's a place they are taken to be given care,
Okay.
but they run away back to the streets because they say there's no money there.
Okay, sawa. Let's close the conversation there, and I'll just end with some feedback. Lots of feedback coming in. Teachers Simon Maina, saying people have different perceptions. Just do what you do, Mosiria. Kelvin Muna says you don't need cameras while helping. That's where it goes wrong. You're only cloud chasing. Okay.
So that person mwambie yeye afanye yake quietly tuone vile itakuwa na tutakuja tamsupport atuite.
Robert Maina says Mosiria is competent and a performer but stuck in Sakaja's clueless, incompetent government. Hey, Wamboi K2G says, I agree with Mosiria. You go for Shugli's downtown, we need to have order. It's dirty, congested, insecure. One way of bringing orders is what toy hawkers. And on the issue of hawkers, there was someone else who was saying, Bwana Mosiria, Jane, she's saying, Bwana Mosiria, hawkers in the CBD are back. It's an eyesore, it's a menace. We can't walk the streets in peace. What's the, why does county keep shifting goals about hawkers in the CBD? Zero data analyst says, we also need streetlights. Nairobi is dark, especially Nairobi West. This is something we've even discussed with Governor Sakaja. Something needs to be done. The other day I complained about it and they fixed it, only to have worked for 1 week. But we had this conversation with the governor when he was here. Francis Odhiambo says, I'm not sure whose docket this is, but I would like Mr. Mosiria to address the issue of rogue council officers who openly take bribes from matatus in the name of allowing commuters in the CBD, to alight in the CBD. Kikombe is saying, does the Nairobi County government have a budget on civic hygiene and sanitation education? Asking because Nairobi has a lot of new arrivals who may not be adjusted yet. But a lot of feedback for you to just take with you as we close the show. Thank you so much for spending the last hour and a half with us. That has been Geoffrey Mosiria, Chief Officer, Public Participation, Citizen Engagement and Customer Service, Nairobi County. Tunamalizana for now, but tupatane hapa Monday, 6 to 10 a.m. Yes, and we'll have an amazing show in store for you. Leonie Winnie ako kwa Your World. She'll be talking about Entertainment Friday with It's Good Vibes and Inshallah Bana with DJ Scaly. And of course on Nation FM, it is Vibe Shift with Brian Aseli and Claudia Naisabo. From myself, Mariam Bishar, Eric Latif, Felaris Wamboi. Have an amazing weekend.